they say something that's just off-putting.
Right. Or no, he's not autistic.
Yeah.
No, he can't be.
And then they bring up discipline conversations like it just doesn't, he hasn't been spanked enough, or he hasn't been, whatever. When somebody says something that just out of lack of knowledge, they don't.
Right.
Then what happens internally is that you start just to build the wall.
Hello and welcome back to the Raising Autistic Disciples podcast. My name is Larah Roberts, and with me I have the one, the only Colin B. Roberts. Has anybody ever called you that?
Very rarely. I've always wanted to be one of those old school writers that had like their first two initials.
CB?
CB Roberts.
Never thought of you like that.
EBLE Roberts.
Well, I mean, I haven't been called Lur.
Lur. That is true. That is your initials.
But you, CB, it could work.
Yeah. It feels like I'm more like an air traffic controller than a book writer. CB Roberts, or like maybe an ice road drugger.
Over. CB, do you copy?
Yeah. So,
that's cool. All right. Well, hey.
No, it doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't happen very often. Hey, do you remember when the last time we had a podcast episode?
I don't.
It was January 2025.
Come on, a full year.
A full year. So
we've had plenty of podcastable moments.
We have, which we're going to discuss. But like this whole word of like consistency has not been on our agenda.
We've been consistent in other things.
We have definitely been consistent in other things.
Praise the Lord, but not this one.
Not been consistent in the whole podcast. So, hey, accept our apology, you faithful listeners, but we're back on it because I know this because I have calendared a lot of interviews for this particular season of the podcast. So get excited. We'll talk about that in a second. But, okay, so if a year's gone by, let's catch some people up on
a year in review.
A year in review. What's happened in 2025? CB Roberts?
And to jog my memory, it's been a lot. Are we working backwards?
I will jog your memory. At the time of this recording, it is early February. Mm-hmm. So this weekend is what? This weekend, what is this Sunday?
Sunday is February 8th.
Okay, thank you. Okay, what happened on the Sunday night?
Oh, the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. Yeah. So this time last year, what were we doing?
Ooh, what were we doing?
We were celebrating a monumental event, and it was not the Super Bowl.
This is how bad that...
Yeah, this is how much us as special needs parents, we had such... we can't even remember yesterday, much less a year ago.
Monumental event.
Yeah, remember like pinata and everything?
Oh, the poop party. Yes.
The Pooper Bowl.
The Pooper Bowl. There it is.
This weekend we will celebrate 1 year anniversary of our sweet grand boy being potty trained, and all God's people said.
Amen.
1 year of potty training success. Colin, I mean.
What a year it's been.
I mean.
Yeah, that's huge.
It was huge, and it has been huge this year. Honestly, I can't think. I mean, it was so like, once he got it, he just got it.
Just got it. He was ready.
And, yeah, crazy. So we did the whole poop pinata. I ordered a poop pinata off of Amazon, and we filled that thing with candy, and then we let him smack it, and we celebrated. Because you know what? That's a big accomplishment. Anybody listen to this, if once your kid is able to potty train, you celebrate.
Absolutely.
Celebrate. Okay, so that happened. Between that and May, I really am...
I had a loss.
I can't really remember anything, but we celebrated 17 years of marriage.
We did, absolutely. That was a big deal. 17
years of marriage in May. Yeah. That is.
Put up with me for 17 years. Well, I guess technically 20, counting.
With dating and
whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a journey. It goes by fast, but also it's, looking back, it's God's faithfulness after one thing after another. Anyway, so 17 years of marriage. Graham's, we move into June. Graham's first airplane.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That you did with him solo because I was already there.
Yeah, man. What an event. Are we going to talk about that whole event?
I mean, probably in a later podcast, but I just want you to tell him, just as we're recapping, what he did at the end of the flight.
Yeah. Well, obviously at the beginning of the flight, I mean, the whole trip was wonderful. At the beginning of the flight, I think he with all the delays and stuff, and we had to go back and forth from the terminal, and it got delayed 4 or 5 times. We had to take a nap in the terminal and whatnot. But then we finally got on the airplane. He was so worked up and ready. As soon as we're on takeoff, and he just vomits in the bag.
Bliss.
Luckily, we caught it all.
Okay. And those little baggies do come in handy.
They do come in handy. And then when we get to Baton Rouge,
you're like in the front of the airplane.
We're in the front of the airplane. We are everybody can see us, and he loved it. He was having a blast. We get on the ground, we get to the terminal, and as soon as they park the airplane, he turns around and gets on his knees where he can just scan
the whole
whole fuselage. He is everybody in the
fuselage,
and he just says, "Great job, everybody! We did it!"
Raises his hands. Great job, everybody!
There was cheer and applause by everyone. It was sweet. It was fun.
Great job, everybody. That's so why I love it.
Gosh. And then the rest of that trip just...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to explain on another episode. Let's see. How would we title that episode when we do explain it?
Don't stop in Mississippi.
Don't stop in Mississippi. What does a police chase, tornado, and a gas station have in common? That's what we're going to talk about. So get ready. When Colin Roberts is back on the podcast, you will hear the story of the police chase, the tornado, and the gas station.
Yeah. If there was ever there's no place like home moment.
That was a long trip. Jeez, have mercy. All right, moving on. So we move out of June. We get to July, our summer. Man, something always happens during our summer. Mm-hmm. Graham had an eye injury.
Yes, he did.
That was pretty big.
That was, but also redeemed to some degree. But
we did. So long story short, you pray and you desire that when you have siblings or when you have other kids, your autistic kid actually gets along with them. Well, all 3 of our kids get along fantastic as brother and sister, and so they're playing, and a finger hit an eye and it peeled Graham's
cornea.
Peeled Graham's cornea, a cornea abrasion. And we learned that, just FYI, if anybody's taking notes, that a peeled cornea is better than a scratched cornea.
Well, a peeled cornea is obviously better because it didn't cut deep.
Right.
But it just takes a long time to heal.
But the scratch would have been...
If the scratch would have been surface level, it would have healed quicker, but it's more potential to be more damaging.
Right.
But man, that's the impulse for most of us, to be able to hold our eyes open and understand that eye drops are helpful.
Right.
The sensation of them being cold or warm doesn't really technically matter, but we tried to do all the things, but he walked around for 5 days with his eyes closed.
Yes, but that broke my heart. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like the whole, when it happened, I got scared. You took him to the doctor. Trying to communicate to, this was not like meltdown. This was like he was fearful and scared like we've never seen him before, because he doesn't really get scared over anything. And so to be able to calm him down, because his eye not only hurt, but it was his eye.
Yeah.
And so for him not to be able to see, and for us to be able to even see what happened in his eye, that was heart-wrenching. And then the next day when he would, with his hands trying to touch walls to make sure to navigate, oh, my mama heart. But long story short...
and there's Dr. Stevens.
And then there's the wonderful Dr. Stevens in our community, and Graham loves the doctor now.
Man.
Because again, it showed us that autistic individuals place strong connections to people, places, and things.
That's right, yeah. And Dr. Stevens' office is where he feels better. And
he knew that the magic drops were at and that's a whole long story why we couldn't get the magic drops, because we went to pharmacy after pharmacy, couldn't find them. But it worked out that we went to 6 times. We went to the doctor's office within 48 hours.
Absolutely.
Because he needed the drops twice a day. And so we got to know those people. And then Graham got to have a relationship with the doctor's office not being a scary place, but an actual place that he equated with feeling better. And so, that taught us, how does he feel about our home? How does he feel about church? How does he feel about other, what strong connections is he making toward this? And it further solidifies in our mind how to raise an autistic disciple.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, long story short, it healed within 12 days.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but that first 24 to 48 hours of keeping him in a dark room, that was.
Previous year was a gash on my leg.
Yeah.
This year was a gash on his eye.
Every summer, man.
Who's up next?
Hey, don't, please, Lord, don't.
We got 4 months to get ready for it.
Oh, gosh. So eye injury that brings us out of the summer and brings us out of the summer, and between the summer and now, it kind of is also a blur a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the time of this recording, we are just coming out of 10 days of spending wonderful quality family time inside from 10 inches of snow.
Yes.
That we don't normally get, and we don't really know what to do with.
Absolutely. Nor were we properly equipment-wise to...
We cannot survive in this stuff. So those of you who are from the north or, other places where you navigate snow, it rocked our world, man. We did get them sleds, but here's one thing I didn't tell you. While you were gone to work that day when they were off of school playing in the snow, he loved it.
Mm.
And we already know about our Graham, our kid, that his pain tolerance is through the roof.
Yeah.
He can, the eye injury was one thing, but like you just don't know if he's hurting.
Yes, absolutely.
Unless it's real. That's how we knew with the eye injury something's wrong, is because he usually doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so 3 days ago when it's snow and they're out of school, you're at work, I let him go play outside, and he stayed out there for a good 45 minutes. Now it's cold.
Oh yeah.
Like we're talking about like 12 degrees, between 12 and 20 kind of thing. And so he finally comes in, and I go check on him. If you watched my Instagram stories, you saw that. But I go check him every once in a while. And then when he came in, because the back door, I was near it, and he took off his shoes. He had no socks on. And I just looked down, like, Mother of the Year.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So no frostbite. All toes were accounted for.
Yeah. But he likes the sensory of it.
But
he loves the snow. He loves the cold.
Frozen toes.
Yeah, it doesn't bother him.
Yeah.
Like falling in the snow, pushing Levi in the snow, all the feelings.
All the things.
It's all the feels.
Jeez. So snow, yep. And Colin, who would have thought? Let me preface this next one with, if my high school friends or my high school teachers, I think I should send them a book. Anyway, if they could see me now and be like, Larah McKay, maiden name, wrote a book, they would probably laugh.
Oh, I bet they wouldn't.
But Letters to Lindsay, Seeing Your Child's Autism Diagnosis Through a Gospel Lens, Volume 1, Theology and Autism, has been out in the world for about 4 months now.
Yeah, come on.
Praise God and His kindness, the feedback and the encouragement, I hope, all from Him.
Absolutely.
So that's been out in the world. That happened last year. But let me go ahead and tell you something.
What's that?
Along with the Letters to Lindsay, because I tell a certain story in that book. But people have expressed through DM and emails and whatnot their disdain.
Sure, let's go with that.
I
don't know what we're going for, but
of your philosophy.
Okay.
Do you know where I'm going?
Oh, without a doubt.
They do not share your theory of multitasking.
It rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
So if you have not read Letters to Lindsay, I tell a story in there of where, listen.
Well, we've talked about this enough on other media. Can I?
True.
So I'm going to give my brief synopsis.
Give it. Go ahead and give it.
It's very brief, and it's not alienating to anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my mind, in Colin's mind, now there are some studies, but I don't really, that's not the point of my conversation. When you talk about the word multitasking, okay, what most people think they're talking about is you simultaneously be able to do independent new tasks that involve no muscle memory at almost the exact same time. Our body obviously does multiple processes at the same time. It's just part of being our body. But the Lord has inherently designed us to be able to be singularly focused on one task at a time. He multitasks. He's omnipotent. He's omnipresent. So for me, it's a theological conversation.
Okay, in our millions of times of talking about this, you never made it spiritual. So to bring the Lord into it.
No. Yeah, but if he is that, We aren't that.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm saying is now, but let me hold on, but let me bring this to the world we live in. So that's the beginning basis, the theological understanding.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary understanding, the metaphysical, like the man and woman. It is no doubt in my mind that for most women, most of the ones I've ever been around, y'all are much better at what I would call task switching. So your ability to keep multiple tasks in queue, recall them, do them, put them back in the queue, shift them around, bar none.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wired, the Lord's wired you guys to be a little bit more adept at that. Like for me personally, I get so narrowly focused on a task, I can lose track of all the other things, right? So that I'm not denying that for most women, and especially I'm sure the ones that are
rolling their eyes
have a level of vitriol over what I'm saying.
Vitriol.
Yeah, vitriol, just anger, irritation.
Okay.
I'm not denying the fact that
we can switch tasks really fast.
You are master task switchers.
You just don't think multitasking is a thing.
I don't think it's physiologically a thing, and I don't think it's spiritually a thing. I don't have to be right though. That's just the Lord is omni, we aren't.
I don't know if you read my final manuscript because you read a lot of my, book, but like if you look in the book, I do put a footnote at the bottom.
Yeah.
That says there is research that does affirm multitasking is not
it's just
a thing.
It's one. It's Harvard did it. That's not really my point.
But I do at least give you a footnote that I do know it's semi whatever. But for us women who can rock a baby, plan the next meal, cook the next meal at the same time, be on the phone talking to a friend.
Yeah, all the things.
All the things.
Well, and obviously my point being the task switching, like we're talking nanoseconds here, or we're splitting hairs, but independently, like when you look in scripture, we don't have a divided mind.
Okay.
Right? He didn't give us one of those. Mm-hmm. He is the perfection. He is the omni. He is all the things. But specific to the moms that are listening, there's no doubt in my mind, y'all have for the most part, have a predisposition to task switching much quicker than the opposite gender.
You've made a compelling argument.
Yeah, and so we've teased that so many times on other things. Like I do need to at least.
You've explained yourself well.
There you go. And and I will gladly be wrong when we're all worshiping together.
You're right.
But until that time, I'm pretty firm in it.
You want to know what other story that we're not going to talk about on this podcast?
What not?
Hot water heater. We're not talking about it.
Man.
Let's move on. We'll talk about that on another. But I do tell that story in the book too. I do tell that story.
That one in general, I'm just the one sentence. That one's just right or wrong.
True. That's why we're not going to talk about it. All right. So, for the rest of this season, I'm pretty excited about it. And I don't want to give it all away, but I have recorded a few that you're going to hear coming out in the next few weeks. But I'm really excited to frame some of these conversations with some amazing people, both autism parents, church leaders, and some that aren't. Because I think we can learn from all types of people. My friend Abby with I'm blanking on Abby's Instagram. Dadgummit. Hold on a second.
I tell you, the snow days have really gotten to us.
The snow days have
cabin fever.
Literally made our brains like, we're like, okay, when does this M is for Mama. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So my friend Abby, M is for Mama, is going to be on. I mean, she's not an autistic mom or parent, but we're going to talk about motherhood because I learned a lot from her. And so she's going to be on the podcast. My friend Courtney from Acts of Sourdough is going to be on. And next week, my mentor Barb Stanley is going to be on talking all things, kind of giving the framework to, I'm not going to give it away of what this whole season's going to be about. Ryan Wolf from Ability Ministry is going to be on talking about something I'm really looking forward to, that I'm wrestling with, the whole age of accountability thing. Yeah. So, I'm going to talk to him and so many more people, Kim Botto, Carrie Baker, some
all the all-stars,
all the all-stars, but also my friend, Tiffany and Angie and Mallory, just autism moms who are living life.
So let me ask you a question. This just popped in my head. So for all the people that you just mentioned, how long have you known?
No, I mean, literally, I may talk to 2 people.
No, like when did you come to know or meet any of these people?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this season, I may talk to 2 people that I've known longer for 2 years. So like my extent on Instagram covers the people that I'm going to be talking to.
I mean, just how the Lord orchestrates
relationships. He redeems it. I mean, there's an aspect of the internet that's evil and frustrating, but he does, the connecting part is really beautiful.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm just really excited. Here's the point, Con. Why all those conversations is because what Instagram has taught me, what the world of just online media has taught me is there, we do have all lived different perspectives. We all have a different lens on by which we see things. Now, if the gospel is the lens of what we're unified under, we can talk about any conversation, even if we disagree. And there's going to be times when some of these people are going to disagree where I stand, and I'm going to disagree with it. Like it's just part of it. My friend Nicole is going to be on, and the wealth of just she oozes like just love for Jesus. And so we're going to talk about advocacy and how it gets real hard.
It does.
But different, like just how we see autism, through the gospel lens, but how there's some aspects of it that are just very weird to navigate.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to lay things out in the open with, and you've helped me with this, and you've even said this, and I hope nobody disagrees with it. It's just really hard to have a conversation with people these days when you disagree. Like, we can disagree and still be kind.
Oh, yeah. And we're still going to worship together.
Yeah.
For now and in eternity.
Right. And so that's what we're going to do. I want to know other people's perspective on things. I want to talk through some things that I'm wrestling with. And yeah, so I'm super excited about
that's excellent.
This next
It's going to be fun, consistent.
It is. We are going to be consistent.
Look at there. What a goal. What a day.
Putting it on, not putting it on, paper too, but like you've got it here in the recording.
That's it.
Okay. So as we wrap up, I got a message today, and I'm going to just kind of spring it on you.
Come on,
see what you think of this first. So this sweet sister, and honestly, I don't think we've ever answered this, or I don't think I wrote about it either. She says, "Hey, Larah, as a fellow follower of Jesus, I have been struggling with something, and I would love to hear how you handled this in your journey. I struggle to tell people that my son has autism. I want so badly for him to be treated like every other child and not defined by his diagnosis, even though I know it could be evident to people I selectively tell. How did you and your husband go about this? Thank you."
And yeah, we've talked about this enough together in other digital contexts that I'm pretty sure the ones that have been in our village, that are in our circle, are probably know how we'd answer it. But my particular way of kind of living out this journey that the Lord has given us is slightly different than yours.
Yeah. Well, at first it was because I was in denial. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but even to that point, I don't have a propensity to be embarrassed.
Right.
Right. Which means sometimes I put our son in situations that probably over accentuate certain things because I want the world to see him, so that I'm not as protective. But then even on the embarrassment side, you can go too far to the embarrassment thing, but also you're naturally protective, right, of him. And so when it comes to situations that his autism specifically is pretty evident, right? And it's, I don't hopefully this is not something that would ever get me in trouble. I'm sure we can edit it out if we need to, but like the Lord has given us a gift in our son. So like our other son is a football player. He tells everybody he's a football player, right?
He's proud of he's a football player.
And our daughter, she loves Jesus. She loves to cheer. She loves her friends, right? Now, but our son can't, like, other than movies and other things, like,
he can't tell people.
He can't tell people, right?
What he enjoys.
And so even this very morning, like we went and got coffee, right? And the one thing that he is pretty much everywhere is just joyful, right? And so when I can sit down and he sits down at a stool and talks to a middle-aged gentleman named Scott.
No, he's not talking to them. He's scripting.
No, he asked him questions.
Did he really?
He said,
how about it?
He said, how was your day? What are you reading? Like asking questions, like, being.
Okay.
And then got a small tour of the little co-working place in the coffee shop, whatever. But it was sweet. But like, I didn't have to explain to that gentleman because he just knew, right? And so, but in other situations where I need to make it evident, right, and I need to make it clear, like I don't walk around with my son like he's got a scarlet letter on that I hope nobody ever finds out. And so like, just when it comes to bearing it, even though it's hard and it's hard to ride that line, because depending on what circles his sister is in, there's a lot of people that like to remind parents of special needs that the special needs that your son or daughter, whoever it is, possesses is not their identity. Their identity is in Christ, right?
Sure, yeah.
Now that's a good thing. So I'm trying to marry that with what we were talking about. There's good ways to apply that. And then, but when you're around people that just don't want to deal with the autism, they'll say, hey, that's not his identity. Quit talking about it. That's not healthy, right? Because I don't think my son's identity is being autistic. He is an image bearer. But in the specific diagnosis that he has, the way he sees the world and understands it can bring joy in situations. But the world around him also needs to know how to understand him, right? And so we can't do that if it's not open.
Right.
We can't do that if it's not part of vernacular and understanding.
Is it wrong for me to say, or selfish or whatever, maybe we can just talk this out, that I kind of feel now, looking back, that it would have been more exhausting not explaining it?
Yeah. Well, I don't say what I'm about to say lightly, and obviously I'm going to be as vague as I can, because there's certain people that I know, that I've come to know in most recent years, that they have, mid-20s and almost 30-year-old children that never were told that they were autistic. And I think the most unkind thing you could do for an autistic person is try to convince them, or try to hide any diagnosis and try to convince them that they're neurotypical. Because there's no way their mind's going to be able to comprehend what's going around them. Mainly because then you just end up in these, just, especially as they get older and there's more feelings and emotions coming, it's like they don't understand who they are. And so helping your child understand and other people around understand who they are, how they think, isn't leaning into their identity being their diagnosis. It's just like when you love someone, you get to know them, right? And so, yeah, so I think the encouragement would be, if the people around you get uncomfortable because you mention that your son is autistic, and that becomes part of how you start a conversation, that's just not your fault. That's not your problem.
Right. You're not to manage other people's emotions or reactions.
Yeah. They don't hold sway over you.
Yeah. You're not responsible for that.
And so if you take that burden internally, then you're creating the stress in yourself that just doesn't need to exist.
Right. How would you answer the whole, like, defined, like the word defined?
Yeah.
That I don't want them to define him as, it goes back to identity, like what you're saying. Yeah.
But when it comes to, like, the definition of a person, and then the listing off of the characteristics that they possess, we don't like to keep those two things separate. right? Because we just think we think it's just a mental gymnastics. When in essence, like we're defined by the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you believe in him or not, we were made in his image.
Mm-hmm.
All creation sings, right? All creation tells the story. But then as his children, right? The ones that are redeemed and saved, it's almost like we feel like if we talk about things that are not inherently talked about in scripture as our identity, then somehow we have this spiritual schizophrenia. We can't talk about this because it's not specifically mentioned, right? Like when Paul talks about his ministry in the gospel, this is not the same thing as a diagnosis. He diagnoses his ministry with sufferings, right? And his specific way that he would describe himself as having a thorn in the flesh, right? Didn't define him, but it did define his circumstances.
It did, right? And it laid out a boundary of what he could and couldn't do.
Yeah.
So that if he would not have told people he had whatever the thorn refers to, then his ministry would not have been.
Yeah. Because if you feel like that we'll go back to the diagnosis part. If you feel like that the diagnosis that your child has been given, or whoever you're caregiving for has been given, is something that you need to hide, then I don't think you truly understand what it means to be counted worthy to carry what you've been given.
Right.
And so
we just have felt like, and then people have told us, and there are people that probably explain a lot more eloquently than what I'm about to say, but like it is a map.
Yeah.
Like it's a piece of paper.
Yeah, without doubt.
But it's a map to understanding, because our focus is discipleship as Christian parents. Our map is the diagnosis is a map to help me understand how he learns best.
Yeah. And I'm going to use very simple language here because it was similar like as our daughter has grown up. One of the things we talked about, and I'm not using graphic language here. I'm just going to be very vague. As a young woman gets older, she'll experiences things as she changes, as the body changes.
Developmentally, yeah.
And then one of the most significant developmental things for a young woman, most all of us would know what that is. As her dad, I don't want to ever make her feel icky. So I don't shy away from that conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't want her to feel like she's spoiled or icky. So it's the same thing with her son. I don't want him, he may not understand what the word autism means, or maybe understand right now why he's different.
But we don't ever want to make him.
I don't make him feel icky.
Feel like he is a project, but yet also that this is something we're shying away from and not talking about it because we're ashamed of him. That is not the case.
So other people take the mental leap of watching special needs parents make their identity and the diagnosis the same. I know we don't do that. Other people like to project that on other people because I don't really know why. I can give a couple conjectures, but one of the main ones is if you can try to cast an aspersion, if you want to try to make people feel bad for how they're treating their child and over accentuating their diagnosis, then it removes them from the responsibility of being a part of that community, and a part of that village.
Toward them, yeah.
Oh, we can't do that because they're those people that their son's identity is autism before they're an image bearer.
Yeah.
But people like to make those false dichotomies all the time. Yeah. But it removes them from the responsibility of actually moving towards it.
Right.
People.
So practically speaking, how did we move toward people to actually tell them? I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. And if you go back to almost one of the very first, I think maybe the second or third, fourth, I can't remember, episodes, I'd talk about walking the lines in the parking lot, talking to my friend Lizzie. She says, we're going to name it out loud. You're going to say it because that's the first step. Yada, yada. You can go back and listen to it. But then I remember like a week later, as I was processing that, I was in the Walmart parking lot and I just called my mom and I'm like, pretty sure this is what's happening. I was crying, my eyeballs out, like, this is what happened. And of course she was so encouraging and, kind of thing. And so that was step number one, is just saying it out loud. Yeah. And then we have a small group that is literally like our family, brothers and sisters. And if I knew then what I know now, here's what I think. And we just finished up the series, How to Church, that you can find on YouTube. And it kind of helped us have language too. I do wish we would have told people sooner.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that was definitely one. We didn't know that was a proper step.
Right, correct. So that's why we're wanting to equip. So especially with your church, especially with your small group of friends, like with your trusted people, go ahead and tell them. But this is it. You don't have to feel like you have to know everything.
No, not at all.
You literally just say, this is what we think's going on. Would you pray with us? But the whole this is, okay, time out. This is the other thing too. So I'm going to kind of like contradict myself just a little bit. I love this question from the sister. Mm-hmm. But I'm about to launch an article too that says, because another sweet sister on Autism Moms Bible Study, recently kid diagnosed, and she just asked the vulnerable, humble, question of, am I okay not accepting it yet? Mm-hmm. It is. She said, I want to get past it, but I cannot. Yeah. And so I wrote this long letter of, you give yourself grace on the phases and stages, because now, do I think some are unhealthy to stay in a long time? Yeah, I do. I think you need to step out. I'm not going to tell you when. That's a Holy Spirit thing. Especially
if you're still journeying to understand.
Right. So, but how it compares to this is you don't need to not tell anybody what you're navigating.
Yeah.
So even if you're not you're in the same thing that she was in, like, I don't know if I can accept it yet, that's fine. Your group of people still need to know.
That's right, yeah.
Because if you hide it from them and then things just start piling up and they start wondering something like, is it them? Like, they start wondering things.
Yeah.
Tell your people, but don't feel like you have to have all the answers. Just say, listen, we just need you to pray.
Yeah.
And then I also add a caveat of I might be a little bit moody in the next few.
Well, also
saying some stuff I probably should.
I don't know this sister's life at all, but I can probably, some of her trepidation just comes from, she's probably tried and she's experienced some sort of hurt from it.
Sure.
So the hardest thing to do, to be open and honest, is when you're in a room with your family, mm-hmm. and they say something that, out of just ignorance, like I said, we don't mean that negatively.
No, it means lack of knowledge.
Just lack of knowledge. They say something that's just off-putting.
Right. Or, no, he's not autistic. Yeah. No, he can't be.
And then they bring up discipline conversations, right. Like it just he hasn't been spanked enough, or he hasn't been, whatever. When somebody says something that just out of lack of knowledge, they don't.
Right.
Then what happens internally is that you start just to build the wall. So whatever can keep you from that pain and that feeling, because you already don't feel adequate, and that just makes you feel more inadequate, then it just makes it harder to be joyfully submissive to what the Lord gave you, and to be open about it. And even in the struggles and in the joy and the triumphs. But I know for me personally, I'm going to tie back in the multitasking for a second.
Lovely.
But to go back to if God is omni, if he is perfect, mm-hmm. then when, even in this moment we're recording this, whatever address you're at is not an accident. So when you step out and you're around the people you're around, mm-hmm. if you believe the Lord specifically is guiding your placement, mm-hmm. and the other people that are placed around you, and you're an outpost of the gospel, then you would be derelict on your duty as a Christian to not share it.
Right.
If you hide it, then you're taking hold of what the Lord has given you. That's part of sharing his glory and for your good, and you're hiding it.
Right. Because we are a testimony. Praise God. Our small group is a testimony of, because we've been in this location long enough now that we have seen each other go through some stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
And hold on a second, I'm getting a lump in my throat. Had our friends not let us in on their journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
To see where God has brought them. Yes. And I got to be a part of celebrating and being, walking with her and linking arms, and all of us together. And then they've got to see us navigate some really hard stuff, while also, we've had to have some friendship conversations.
Yeah, really.
And so, but then on the other side of it, you're like, look what God did.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just by me going, you know what? I don't know if I can accept this yet. I'm actually in denial. I don't know, our friend Justin Twito's line in his song, I don't know what's ahead, but I know his glory's at the end. You need people in your life to remind you, no, we don't know what's ahead, but we do know that his glory is at the end.
Well, that's I was reading that in 2 Peter this morning.
Well, wrap us up by that.
Yeah, well, in 2 Peter, like when Peter's at the end of his life, just the same way that Paul was at the end of his life in Philippians. When Peter's writing that second letter, in the first chapter, he talks about, until his dying breath, he will not stop trying to remind you of the grace that you've been given. He will find it his goal and his mission to remind you. Don't forget.
And he wrote it down, and we have it.
We'll have it. And we gave it to you in words. We continued to preach it and prophesied at that time before there was a written scripture. He never stopped and ceased trying to remind his people. And when we shirk the responsibility of reminding each other and just reminding and keeping track, even like just a year in review kind of thing.
Yeah.
My heart is full.
Looking back at what God has done.
Yeah, but not even just circumstantially, but just what the Lord has brought us through, even the things that we didn't put on the list.
Yeah.
Right? We should just never tire of reminding each other that, even for this sister, that your child who has autism, right, is not something to be hidden, right? He or she is an image bearer.
To be celebrated.
Celebrated in the sense of not because they're autistic.
Right, but because
he has made and knitted that person inside the fabric of the society that we live in.
Yeah. Into your family.
To image him.
Yeah, and to image him and be a part of your family.
For his glory and your good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we should just never cease to remind each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, wrapping up, great segue back into next episodes is that, we do need each other. We need each other's perspectives. We need each other's stories. We need each other's encouragement. We need each other's reminder, because we're running this race toward eternity, and it's not easy. And we need running partners to pick us up when we fall, to pick us up when we don't want to run no more, when we want to throw in the towel. All that to say, but thank you for listening to this episode of Raising Autistic Disciples podcast. It is for God's glory and our good. See you in the next episode.